what is the significance of the United Nations ruling that Israeli military actions in Gaza amount to genocide?
Yeah.
What are the legal and political implications in this perspective?
Okay, thank you, Kanchan, for inviting me, and very warm wishes to my dear viewers. At the outset, I would like to remember, as you term me as a soldier, that this is the month, September, a very significant month in the military history. In this month, World War II started and also got ended in this particular month of September. French Revolution turned on this particular month with the removal of Louis XVI, the very ferocious monarch, self-claimed monarch of the then Zaire, now the Congo, which generated the genocides in Rwanda and Greater Congo. He died on 7th September, that is again in this month. So history says September is a month where anything in military perspective can happen, and it happened in the past and not unlikely to happen in present days also. In this month of September, as we have already discussed, very two significant marks we have seen. One is Donald Trump, for the second time he is visiting UK, and he has been given a very warm welcome, grand reception, banquet and everything. And very shortly I will discuss it maybe in the second stage, but shortly I can say this is maybe one step ahead to stop the war in Ukraine, because British or the England is one of the major key players in Ukraine war in terms of supplying arms, intelligence, logistics support to the Ukrainians. Now coming back to your direct question about the genocide in Gaza Strip, it is very unfortunate that the whole world, especially the Muslim world, just kept on watching that one generation is being totally abandoned, and the buildings, that the last building, last few of the tall buildings, that has been demolished starting from yesterday. Yesterday they said these are the hubs of the so-called terrorists, but internationally now it is quite clear that only few journalists were there in that particular building. They have already abandoned the building, the Gaza citizen, and they have now running from here to there. They have no food, they have no medicine, no schooling, nothing they have. Now they are right in front of the just guns, you can say. And yesterday I was watching, a lady was telling that 20 times I shifted my location within last 1 year, from one door to another door, from one camp to another camp, and nowhere they are secured. Nowhere they are secured. They are being asked to stay inside the tent, and the lady is replying, I don't have food. I don't have money to buy food. Where from I will get a tent? So there is no way I will have to stay under the sky. This is very, very serious crime against humanity, crime against the international laws. It's total neglect and disrespect to UN Convention, to the Geneva Convention. Everyone, nobody and no human being can accept such crimes against the humanity. But fact remains, so long big powers do not create pressure on Israel, and if there is no internal uprising from the Israel, it is very difficult to stop Netanyahu at this stage.
I understand you are talking about the big powers. Pakistan and Saudi Arabia has come in a pact, and I have gone through the terms and conditions. It is almost like a NATO type agreement. If Pakistan is under attack, Saudi Arabia will respond. If Saudi is under attack, Pakistan will respond. It is a commitment between the two countries. I will be going there after a while, but I have a question for you. In what ways do attacks on hospitals and critical infrastructure violate international humanitarian law, and how can those laws be enforced? Because according to UN Charter, you have to maintain some norms of war.
Yeah. So as already we have discussed to some extent that Israel, especially Netanyahu, has no respect for international norms or the UN Charter or the Geneva Convention, whatever, or other ICC guidelines. So, nowhere we can bind him with the laws. It is only by force probably we can implement some restrictions on to his this type of aggressive movement, and it is quite impossible without the blessings of the big powers. Now, one thing is that Donald Trump, especially inside his country, he is totally under pressure. You see, he is visiting UK now, but streets of UK is now full of protesters. They're again and again coming up with different slogans, why he is visiting, why he is not coming in favor of the humanity, why he is not giving strong message to Israel and Netanyahu. So everywhere he is under pressure, wherever he goes. And just before coming, I was watching one TV news. 61% British citizen, they have said Donald Trump should leave the country immediately. They don't want to see Donald Trump inside the British territory anymore. So these are the few factors probably he is needs to be considered. And the dimension, Mr. Partha has already said, Pakistan had good allies with the Saudi Arabia, especially in terms of defense cooperation before also. Once Pakistan's the holy places were attacked by the Iraqi forces, the Sunnis, it is the Pakistan commandos who went there and who rescued the hostages and who ultimately cleaned up the entire holy mosques and other places. So Pakistan had good ties with Saudi Arabia before also, and this is a new dimension. As you know that Pakistan has the nuclear capacity, and like Iran, it is not exposed because probably US also has some blessings on Pakistan that you secretly you just go ahead. They are not exposed that much, but definitely they are capable of doing something which can destroy anything, anytime, anywhere. Now, in the entire Middle East, probably only one threat was absent, that is the presence of nuclear weapon in the, especially in the Gulf countries. Iran had, but on the other hand, others, the 7 countries of the GCC, they did not have any nuclear capacity. They were happy with the protection being ensured or protection being guaranteed by the Westerns. Now, the Royal Prince of the Saudi Arabia coming forward, thinking about his own defense after the strike of on Qatar, as you said, rightly said, that this is definitely a new turn, new movement, and new dimension in the Middle East chapter, and especially those who are the new generation now coming up in the power. If you talk about the Emir Tamim of Qatar, he studied in Western countries. His father was very smart, and his mother is also a very educated lady. So he has a different outlook for the world peace. And Qatar and Doha, you know, internationally very reputed for negotiations. Lot of negotiation and successful negotiations were patronized by Qatari Amir, and especially he is open-minded. He likes to bring some peace effort in the world, and he was successful in many of the operations. I can cite the examples, but probably he was also part of, and he was strongly supported by this Prince Salman of Saudi Arabia and other the royal princes around him. He was very much liked by them, and Qatar was given green signal to go ahead, and everybody was in favor of supporting Qatar. They could not do anything directly, but whatever the Sultan of Qatar was doing, Sultan Tamim was doing, that was well appreciated by the Middle East. Now he is under attack. It means that Israel has crossed all limits, and now probably they will have to pay for it in any form.